There are seasons in life when it feels as though heaven is silent. Your prayers seem to echo back unanswered. The road ahead looks foggy, uncertain, and endless. And yet, right in the middle of that silence, something divine is often unfolding. God is preparing something bigger than you could ever imagine. The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 2:9, "No eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no human mind has conceived the things God has prepared for those who love him." That verse isn't just poetry, it's a promise. It means that what God is working on for you far exceeds your understanding. But before he brings you into the fullness of that promise, he often gives signs. These signs aren't always flashy, they aren't always what we expect. Sometimes there are quiet whispers in your spirit, subtle shifts in your life, or even challenges that seem impossible to bear. But when God is about to give you something big, he will prepare you, prune you, and position you so that you can receive it fully. Let's walk through these signs together. If you've been sensing something stirring in your spirit, you may realize that God has been speaking all along. The first sign is unusual restlessness. Have you ever felt uncomfortable in a place that used to feel safe? Have you ever noticed that the things which once satisfied you no longer do? That's not always a sign of failure. It can be a sign of transition. God often stirs a holy restlessness in your heart to let you know that where you are is not where you will stay. Think of Abraham. God told him to leave his country, his people, and his father's household to go to a land he would show him. Abraham could have stayed comfortable, but that restlessness was necessary. Without it, he might have missed the promise. If you feel unsettled right now, like something within you is shifting, it may be God's way of preparing your heart for something greater. Restlessness is not always a curse. Sometimes it is an invitation. The second sign is closed doors. It's hard to accept, but sometimes God shuts down opportunities, friendships, or paths you thought were good for you. At first, it feels like rejection, but in reality, it is redirection. Revelation 3:7 says that when God opens a door, no one can shut it, and when he shuts a door, no one can open it. Closed doors are painful because they feel final, but they are often a sign that God has something better in store. If he is about to give you something big, he will not let you settle for something small. Closed doors may leave you confused in the moment, but later you'll see his fingerprints all over it. The third sign is spiritual warfare intensifying. When you are on the verge of breakthrough, the enemy will not sit back quietly. Suddenly, you might feel resistance in every direction. Things that normally flow smoothly begin to face obstacles. Your peace feels under attack. Your relationships feel strained. Temptations seem stronger. Ephesians 6, verse 12 reminds us that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers, authorities, powers of this dark world, and spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Spiritual warfare is often a sign that the enemy sees what God is about to release in your life, and he fights hardest when you are closest to your breakthrough. Instead of being discouraged by the battle, let it remind you that something significant is on the horizon. The greater the warfare, the greater the blessing that follows. The fourth sign is divine pruning. Pruning is when God begins to strip away habits, attitudes, or even relationships that cannot go with you into the next season. It feels uncomfortable because it involves loss, but just like a gardener prunes a branch to make it bear more fruit, God prunes you to make space for greater growth. John 15, verse 2 says, "Every branch that bears fruit he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful." When God is about to bless you with something big, he will not allow extra weight to slow you down. He will refine your character, challenge your thinking, and sometimes even isolate you for a season. If you feel like you're losing more than you're gaining right now, don't despair. God is removing what no longer serves your purpose to prepare you for what does. The fifth sign is unexpected provision. Just when you think you've reached the end of your strength or resources, God provides in ways that cannot be explained by logic. It may be an opportunity that comes out of nowhere, a person who steps in at the right time, or a solution you never considered. This is God's way of reminding you that your blessing will not depend on your own effort alone. It will be marked by his hand. The Israelites saw this in the wilderness. When they were hungry, God sent manna. When they were thirsty, he brought water from a rock. God's provision was a sign that he was leading them to something bigger, the promised land. If you are seeing little glimpses of provision in unexpected places, it may be God's way of saying, I've got you, keep going, something greater is ahead. The sixth sign is an increase in vision. When God is about to do something big, he often expands your perspective. Suddenly, you begin to dream bigger, to see possibilities you never noticed before. You feel a holy dissatisfaction with small thinking. Habakkuk 2:2 says, Write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. Vision is a sign that God is aligning your desires with his purpose. He begins to plant dreams in your heart that reflect his will for your life, and those dreams will feel too big for you to accomplish alone, because they are. They require his strength, his timing, and his power. If your vision is stretching and you're seeing glimpses of something greater than yourself, pay attention. That's not coincidence. That's preparation. The seventh sign is deeper intimacy with God. Perhaps the most beautiful sign of all is when you feel God drawing you closer to him. You find yourself hungering for his word more. Prayer becomes more than a duty, it becomes a lifeline. Worship feels sweeter, his presence feels stronger. James 4:8 says, Draw near to God and he will draw near to you. When God is about to give you something big, he doesn't just prepare the gift, he prepares your heart to receive it. He knows that blessings without intimacy can lead to pride, but blessings with intimacy lead to purpose fulfilled. If you feel God calling you into deeper communion with him, take it seriously. It may be his way of saying, I am about to do something in your life, but first I want to make sure I have your heart. All of these signs, restlessness, closed doors, spiritual warfare, pruning, unexpected provision, vision, and intimacy, are ways God prepares you for greater things. They may not all show up at once, and they may not look the same for everyone, but they point to the same truth. God is moving. Right now, even in your confusion, even in your waiting, even in your struggle, he is aligning things in your favor. He is preparing something big. And these signs are his way of letting you know that your story is not over. It's just unfolding.